All right, welcome to Hinterlander Outdoors. Today I'd like to talk about one of my favorite hunts to date. This is one particular gobbler. He tested me quite a bit, and in more than one aspect, I had to use multiple different tactics on him to get him to come in. It was a tough one, to say the least. He tested my patience too, and all kinds of stuff. I really like talking about this one, mainly just how stubborn he was. He tested me, that's for sure. And anyways, start off with, so like the day before this particular hunt, I'd set up on this gobbler once already. I set up on him on this ridge, and he was on the other ridge though, across from me. I was kind of hoping he'd come around that day, come around that ridge and come to me. He wouldn't. And but the next morning I heard him, same ridge again, about 8:30. He had already flown down. Around that time, he gobbled up on that ridge. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to get in there. I'm going to try to get close. Try to get it in on that ridge there. And, well, I started heading over there. It was very rough. I had to go way around to keep him from busting me. And I went way around. Probably took me about half a mile to 3/4 of a mile out of the way so I could get there without him busting me. Finally, I did get set up on that ridge, and I was thinking, I was thinking maybe he's still up here. Well, I set up, I started calling, and he gobbled again, except it was about 250 yards down the holler and the next holler there. And I'm like, oh dang. At that point I was thinking hens probably drawed them off or something, and they probably did. But thinking at that point, because it took me a while to get over there, them hens, they might have lost interest in him. But I was going to try to move closer, but there's no way I could without him seeing me. It was real steep. It was horribly steep. It was too open, and I just couldn't do it. And so I ended up sitting up right up there on that ridge that he gobbled at first that morning, and yeah, he did finally come in. But that's kind of what I want to get at too. If you get in a spot like that, sometimes where you set up on them and they gobbled there before, if you set up there, there's a good, I wouldn't say good chance, it's always, it depends on how the turkey is, but there's a chance that turkey's going to come back up there thinking, oh, that hen heard me from before and came back up to where he gobbled to start with. And I think this is kind of one of those situations. But he took his sweet time getting up there. But anyways, so I started calling on this ridge. He gobbled way down there. I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna set up here, try to call him up or call him back up. And this is gonna be one of those situations. Me personally, I don't like to get super loud on a call unless that turkey wants it. And there's certain situations you got to be able to tell when the turkey, when the gobbler, he's gonna want. Some gobblers are different. They get in moods just like we do. Well, they were wanting this particular gobbler. He was wanting it loud, and if I tried to like call at him soft, he would just start walking away. He'd just start walking back the other direction. But I would call at him loud, and he would start coming closer and closer, just a little bit at a time, not much. This gobbler, like I said, he took his time getting up there. But I started calling at him. I was getting loud on that call. He was fired up. He just slowly starts making his way up to me. Well, I want to say probably when he got about halfway up that ridge, I guess 2 other gobblers decided to jump in the mix with him, and they started gobbling too, and they actually came up with him. But they started sounding off. I'm like, oh wow, all right, here we go. And like I said, all this calling, all of this took over the place of about 2.5 to 3 hours. That's about how long all this took. They weren't moving fast. They were taking a good, sweet time. And finally, it was about the last 45 minutes of this particular hunt. They just went dead quiet. They weren't responding to the call I was using at the time. It just went quiet. At that point, I'm like, I'm just going to sit here for a minute. I'm going to see kind of if they just come on in. And I did that. Finally, it was about sitting into that for about 35 minutes of not making a sound. I wanted to try something else and be like, maybe if I sound like I'm more than one hen up here, maybe it'll coax them in a little bit more. And I let off that call on the box call. Sound something a little bit different because I was using my diaphragm calls. That's mostly what I use. But I used that box call, and they gobbled. And they were not 80 yards away around the crest of this ridge. And they gobbled at that box call, though. And it wasn't 5 minutes. I come up. So I was on this ridge. They was just slightly above me, where the ridge kind of went up like that. And I was like right up in here. I was expecting to come up this way, but they went around and then came down that ridge. And like I said, it wasn't 5 minutes after I let off that box call, I started hearing them. I started hearing them walking through the leaves. I'm like, okay, they're close. They're really close. I repositioned before they could see me, and I'll be darned. This is probably this is one of the coolest things that I've seen so far. And to me, turkey hunting. They came in. It looked like a fighter jet formation. There, you had the biggest one was right up front, and you had the 2 on the side, almost like a V. And it was like, oh my goodness. I saw them, and they started coming down. They were all full strut. Oh. But yeah, that was one of the most memorable hunts I've had so far. But anyway, I took aim, and I shot the lead one. Of course, the rest of them took off flying, but I ended up getting that lead one, and that was pretty much that hunt. But that took place, all of this calling and everything took place over the course of about 3 hours. So that's one thing I kind of want to hit on here. Don't get discouraged. Sometimes they're slow. Sometimes they go completely quiet. And sometimes all it takes to coax them in is just try to sound like more than one hen. And a lot of times that'll bring them right in. And sometimes, a lot of people like to say, you can't go too loud. You can't go too loud. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say, sometimes you can throw that rule out the window. It just depends on what the turkey's wanting at the time. Because when I tried to soft call to these turkeys, they were not having it. They started walking the other way. They wanted it loud. They wanted a hen that sounded just as fired up as they were. So I just want to hit on that. Like I said, there are situations where you can call real loud to them, and they'll come in. And with this particular bird or set of birds, it actually took more like, sounded like more than one hen and ones that were fired up. So I just want y'all to keep that in mind. Maybe y'all can use this in one of y'all's hunts. I will say there are times where you can be too loud and they'll shy off. We'll talk about that another time, but this particular time, though, the loud calling worked. That's what they wanted, and ended up getting one of my most memorable birds up to date anyway. And I just want to share that with y'all, and I hope y'all like it. Like I said, maybe you can use some of these tips I just gave you. Maybe it'll help you get a bird this year. But anyway, y'all have a good one. Please like and share my content if you enjoy it, and if it helps you, please follow. I've got more stuff coming up like this. Hopefully here and within the next couple weeks, we'll actually be able to have some hunts that we got filmed and everything, and those should be pretty good. And I would say stick around for those. But anyway, y'all have a good one, and God bless, and stay safe out there. I'll see you. Bye.